Hi everyone, welcome back to the Rookie Parenting channel. I'm Carla and this is Bianca. We are two rookie moms navigating parenthood and sharing our journey with you along the way, just to remind you that you are not alone. Today we're going to be chatting about our personal breastfeeding journeys, what worked, what didn't work, what made us happy, what made us cry. We've been through it all. So we're no experts, we're not specialists, we're just going to be sharing what worked for us and just what we went through. So I think let's start with Noah because he's the oldest.
Yeah, okay, so to give you a little rundown, my first, I breastfed for 5 months. Second, I'm still breastfeeding 2.5 years later. Don't judge. Noah, my breastfeeding journey was I would say it was quite challenging as a new mom living in an Asian country, not being able to have anyone to talk to guide me through anything. I struggled.
You never saw a lactation consultant?
No, not at all. So there I had nobody that at the time obviously could speak English, so nobody showed me how to or what. They gave him to me and they said feed him. Luckily because he was prem, he had a bit of top-up formula already straight after birth, so there wasn't a significant amount of pressure. But obviously I just felt my milk was not coming in. I think my milk came in like day 3 after trying. Yeah, but obviously being a new mom, I was just like, what? I expected to just, yes, this baby and the milk's just gonna come flowing out, and that was not the case at all. Yeah, so like day 3, milk came in. I would say the first 4 weeks for me were extremely challenging. I suffered with cracked nipples. I had mastitis. Mastitis, yes. Mastitis. That was horrendous. I think it was a full week of engorgement and pain, and I tried everything. Warm compress. It was just very challenging, I would say. Then after 4 weeks and pushing through, I got to a point where I was like, this is not for me. It's not. And I was very open-minded to it, but being your first baby, I think you have this idea in your head that you have to do it. You have to do it. Society tells you to do it. Yeah. If they're not telling you to do it, they're telling you to stop because you're doing it for too long, so it doesn't actually stop. But anyway, I'm glad that I did push through. After like the first month, it became a lot more natural, I would say, but I also felt like my milk was very up and down. Like my supply was never consistent. It was either too little or too much. And I obviously think like being a first-time mom, your body's not sure what it wants, then they go through a growth spurt, you're so stressed, you're not eating,
you're not drinking enough water.
Exactly, and that was it. We also didn't have any family to help, so I wasn't eating. Like Liam and myself were both not eating, or we ate like once a day, so definitely that had a huge impact. Yeah, it was pretty fine from month 1 to month 4, and then my dad got sick. So then we had all the stress again of like leaving Vietnam and moving back home because things were moving quite fast. And then at 5 months, unfortunately my dad passed away, but when it happened, my milk supply just disappeared. It was like he passed away, and the next week, not even a week later, I just saw a drastic drop, and I was like, no. Noah kept crying. He was like super unhappy. He also had reflux, so we always thought it was my milk. So this was like, you know what, maybe it's just time to go to full formula. But it turned out to be a fight with formula too. We fought for like 3 months trying to find the perfect formula, and then he had to go on medication because of the reflux. So my first journey lasted 5 months. I was sad when it ended because I put so much pressure on myself. I think it probably took me about a month or 2 to just get over it and to accept that it's not me, it's not my fault. Like I tried, nothing I did was wrong. I could have probably eaten better. When I tell you about the second one, it's like the more pressure you put on yourself, the harder the journey is. Like definitely. Yeah, so that was my first. How long did you breastfeed for the first time?
So with my first, it was also 5.5 months. Also ended because of something that was out of my control, and I really was devastated by it. And like you said, it's always, you feel like it's too soon, too early, and then you blink and then suddenly it's too late.
Yeah, exactly.
So I had the same thing with, she latched perfectly at birth, and I was like, oh, that's it. I have to say during my pregnancy, I didn't plan on breastfeeding, but I was very nervous. Like I bought breastfeeding bras I think a week before I went into labor, and I never took the tag off. I was just kind of like, well, what if I do all of this and then it doesn't work? What if I invest so much money in and then it doesn't work? So I wasn't mentally committed. I was very open-minded. So she latched perfectly after birth, and I was like, oh,
LZT.
Yeah. Well,
And did you have help? Like, did you have a lactation consultant?
yeah, so at our hospital they came in and they come and check.
Yeah. It does help, I guess, just to be
just
guided, because when you just
know, yeah.
you're like, what do I do? Where do I put him? How? Like, is it the nipple or the boob, or is it?
Yeah, you're like closing
so
the nose.
Yeah.
No, so I felt very confident. I would say leaving the hospital.
Yeah.
Like, we've got this. And then we had that first weigh-in, which is at 10 days old.
Okay.
And she hasn't gained any weight. So the first thing the nurse is like, you need to top up with formula, or you need to start pumping so you can track how many mils she's drinking. So we left there and we're like, okay, that's what we're going to do. Because that's my husband's personality as well. He wants to see milliliters.
Growth.
And she was crying hysterically for 10 days. We were like, something is wrong.
Yeah.
I thought she was just being a newborn. He was like, no, there's something wrong. So we were like, okay, we're going to start pumping.
That's so hard to differentiate though, because sometimes they have colic and sometimes like you just don't know when
I just kept
you
saying,
or
like,
when
baby's
it's
not supposed to cry.
to cry.
Newborns cry. Like, this is normal. And it was painful, but I was also told it's supposed to be painful.
Yeah.
I had that thing in my head of like, you count to 5 seconds. If it's painful after that, their latch isn't good. If not,
okay.
so you just like, you latch them and it's like super painful. You just go 5, 4, and then the pain kind of went. But yeah, so that was
I'm just thinking of that pain and I'm like
but I thought that's what it's supposed to
Yeah.
be like. But we knew going home that day, it's like, okay, we need to make a change. So I started pumping. Obviously nothing came out, so now mentally you're like, oh, I have no milk, because pumps never worked the first time. Every person has told me the first time they pumped, nothing came out.
Yeah, of course.
Your body just needs to adjust to the different like pumping
and how much they
sucking
need and stuff too.
Yeah, so it's, don't freak out if you pump the first time and nothing comes out. I did slightly, although I knew I shouldn't. And we tried the bottle. We got a newborn start to get my baby shower. She took that bottle immediately, so that was
amazing.
perfect. Like easy to just give her a bottle. And I think my husband also felt relieved and he felt involved that he could finally like feed her as well. My first was a screamer. She was a loud baby. She still is. So she was crying a lot the first 2 weeks. Still does. Didn't drink. I don't know. She didn't latch, and I was like trying to figure out what's going on, and she's just screaming and screaming. And then I tried to pump, and nothing's coming out. And I was like, what am I doing wrong?
Was it painful?
It was
like
painful,
during that time.
But but it's like we've given her a bath. Like so many times, I just had to put her like literally in the sink just to calm her down, like just hot water on her, because she gets so worked up.
Yeah.
So we've tried that. So I remember just like literally sitting like naked on the bed on like a Saturday night, and she's drinking, and then I lift her up to burp her, and the blood's just like running down her stomach, because we were both wearing clothes, and there was just blood everywhere. And I literally just held her like this. I like blanked after that. I don't even know. I know I called my mom.
How long did you push through for?
So it was
to
like
get there?
proper cracked nipples. It's the first time I looked down. They were infected, like literally both sides infected, scabs, blood coming out everywhere. So she's been drinking blood, not even milk. But I was also using a lot of like nipple creams, and everything was helping. But obviously, if they feed every 2 hours, there wasn't enough time for it to heal.
Yeah, I experienced the exact same the first time. Yeah.
And I tried the physio laser, even the second time as well. I didn't feel a difference at all having the laser done.
No.
We need formula. Like now she's screaming hysterically.
The things
like
moms go
she's
through.
so hungry. So we're WhatsApping friends like, who has formula, like newborn formula. Like no one's replying because everyone's having like a Saturday night. I called the hospital. They're like, sorry, we can't help you. You weren't admitted, so I can't give you formula. And I was literally crying.
They
on
probably
the
would
phone,
have admitted
like,
you though if they saw.
They saw the state of us. Yeah, I was like, my baby is starving. Like, please help me. The woman just put the phone down. I knew it was so hard for her to listen to this and not being able to do anything. That she just put the phone down. But in that moment, I was like, we're gonna die.
Yeah,
I'm all gonna die.
Dramatic.
Yeah. So he went driving around to go look for formula. I was like, I don't even care how far you drive. Like, there will be a shop in this country that has formula. I just needed him to take action. Don't just sit here and watch us cry. Like, go. And then he found like a very cheap formula at like a petrol station store. Brought that back. We like read the box. We've never seen formula before. Tried to like mix it together, put it in the bottle, gave it to her, and since then she's been a happy baby. Honestly, her stomach was full for the first time in 2 weeks. Like, the poor child. She was like literally, I wouldn't say starving.
Yeah.
Obviously something
traumatizing
but
for you
traumatizingly hungry and fighting for food, and I'm like fighting to feed. So we were, both of us, me and my husband, were traumatized from that experience, and we've been overfeeding her since. And even then I was like, I'm not gonna give up on breastfeeding. We're gonna So I knew I just needed to heal. So I just pumped that week just to like kind of keep the stimulation going, that my milk doesn't dry up, but I couldn't feed her. Like it was just too nasty to like put her on there. So that's when I did the physio, and we tried to like get everything to heal nice and quick. And I thought, let's give it the weekend. By Monday she'll be able to feed. No. Took a bit longer. So like a week later, I would say, or 2 weeks later, she started feeding.
It's crazy that you still had your milk after her not feeding, because they say that you can pump, but obviously it's not them on you.
No,
so that's
to, like,
amazing. And then you did like both formula.
And then since then my supply just never properly came back. Like I pumped to keep my supply going, but it never came back fully. So then we just continued breastfeeding and formula feeding. But she was like a drinker. Like she drank a lot. I don't know if I ever would have been able to just breastfeed her. Like she would go through bottles and bottles of formula. Like if the turn says this is what the baby should get, Ayla would drink double. Like more frequent, double the amount, like crazy amounts. So she would have just finished me. Like she drank so much, but she was the happiest formula baby. So I kept breastfeeding up until about 5.5 months, and then she went through a feeding strike where she just decided, the bottle is a lot more fun. I can hold it. I can walk away. I can.
Comes in bigger, stronger, faster.
I wasn't ready. I was really, really trying to get to 6 months. So I went back to lactation consultant, tried all the methods of like getting my supply up again. I bought another pump.
It's emotionally draining sometimes. I don't think people realize, like as a mom, what goes through your head during those times. Yes, it works or it doesn't work. Yeah, exactly. I think you put more pressure on yourself than anybody else does. And how did you feel afterwards? Did you go through any like depression or?
So why the journey I think was so emotional for me ending was I had two friends, one that breastfed very easily and the other one decided she's not going to breastfeed. And then I was with the one that breastfed easily, and she just always kept saying, but she just didn't try hard enough. She just didn't want to breastfeed. She didn't try hard enough. And I remember as this journey was ending, this voice just in my head, she's not trying hard enough. She's not trying hard enough. She's not trying hard enough.
And you see, you have to be so careful. How you
like
talk
even
to
with
people.
like my second one, like every time I'm kind of like, oh, maybe this isn't going to work out. I'm like, you're not trying hard enough. You're not trying hard enough. And it like breaks you because like I said, the amount of pumps and like nipple shields and nipple creams
that you tried.
I was like, this is the most expensive thing I've ever done. Like all the consultations. Like I thought breastfeeding is free. Like I'm trying to do it to save money.
Simple.
And I'm spending so much to be able to do it. So when that ended, I have to say, like once I think the milk dried up and we like went our separate ways, she was formula feeding and I was like getting my body back, I felt like a cloud lifted. So I think I almost was more depressed than what I thought trying to breastfeed.
Like you held on a bit too long.
Held on, definitely. Those last 2 weeks, I think your hormones go through so much if you're trying to do something but it's not working.
Exactly. And so you do that. I think especially as a first-time mom, you push through way longer than you should. You should just trust, like if you feel it's not working.
On a high note.
Exactly. No, that's crazy. Because even with like now my second, the experience was so different. Like then you have that part which is traumatizing, depressing, and then the second time I think.
But what's the difference? We had no pressure the second time. We both decided that if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not going to put myself through that again.
Exactly.
And then somehow then it works.
Exactly. So with Hayes, he was born. I put him on the boob and the milk was there. Obviously not gushing milk. It was that colostrum for the first day or two. But I could feel, and he latched perfectly. That like with Noah, I had an issue because he was prem. His little mouth was so small as well. It was just like not a good fit for the first.
Quite shocking that he did breastfeed as well as he did those first weeks.
Being prem.
So small.
Exactly. But with Hayes, it was like he went on and he never got off. Like he is still there consistently. So it's funny. With him, I had the trouble of continuing and putting all that pressure on me. With Hayes, it's the opposite, where now I'm at a stage where I feel judgment in the opposite way because I'm going for too long. Hayes has been exclusively breastfed from day one. He's never taken a bottle, even pump milk. He's never taken formula. I think he took a bottle once because I had a kidney infection and I was on really bad antibiotics. I think he was about 4 months old. But I mean, during the week of antibiotics, he took a bottle once and it was like minimal drinking. I actually had to kind of work around the antibiotics to make sure that it wouldn't affect him so I could actually breastfeed him. Then I was like, a year is my cutoff. Like that's my goal. I got to a year and I was like, okay, 1.5 years. And then he just began, I think like if you go over 10, 11 months, you're done. Like then it becomes
keep going.
like trying to get a baby off a dummy.
Yeah.
He never took to a dummy, so I think that's also what made it so hard.
It's so much pressure on you.
It's so much like
on you are
no one
responsible.
can sleep. He can't sleep over by our parents. He can't. I mean, he's so dependent on the boob, and even though he doesn't need it anymore after a year, that's his comfort. It's like there's no dummy, there's no bottle.
So he hasn't slept a night away from you in 2.5 years.
I have not slept a night through for 4 solid years. Like Noah was a bad sleeper up until 2, and when he turned 2, we had Hayes, and Hayes is a boob monster. But honestly, like the journey with Hayes has been so intensely beautiful, and like sometimes I feel bad that I didn't experience that with Noah.
Yeah, or like.
But he's just a it's a totally different bond, totally different kids. I do feel like breastfeeding so long gives a different sense of comfort. Like the older he gets, I feel like the more connected we are. Like he looks at me now, and when we feed, sometimes I'm like, I can't anymore. Like I need to stop. It's too long. It's too much. I need my body back. And then he feeds and he looks at me, and I'm like, oh, I love you. And he looks at me like, you are just the most incredible thing in the world.
It's like his favorite thing
in
like
the world.
Favorite,
yes.
I don't want to call it a toy, but it's like that child that has that blanket.
Yes,
that
exactly.
bunny, that's like their thing.
It's his thing, yeah. And if he has a bad day from school, 5 minutes on the boob and he's just a different kid. He's like, he's happy, he's calm, he's subtle. When he hurts himself, when he's sick, like I feel like there's just, for him especially, too much comfort for me to just be like, no, done, sorry.
It's not just breastfeeding at this point.
No, it's a bond. And like now he's at that age, he's like, Mom, can I have boo-boo please? And I'm like, oh, how do you say no to that? So I am like, I mean, some days are very challenging. Obviously, at his age as well, he's very demanding. He's entering that like toddler terrible too. So there's a lot of demand, and if you don't give it, there's tantrums and so I'm kind of trying to balance out now. It's just like once a day or during the night. It's not really consistently.
Yeah.
But I know that it's coming to an end. I can feel it because each day is just easier to kind of say no with less tantrums. So I know that it's coming to an end, and I'm just fully embracing the last bit. But you get people that judge. They're like, he's still breastfeeding. I'm like, yeah. And they look at you like, oh. Like, what? Tell me about it, you know? Like,
what do you want to say?
I know it's hard already. Don't remind me that I shouldn't be breastfeeding anymore. But now I've kind of gone from trying to say no to just letting him feel it out.
Like, come back.
Yeah. So I think it's definitely more me, because I could be harder and just be like, no, it's done, we're done, but I'm not there. So can't be that hard. But so you have a 4-month-old, I have a 2.5-year-old, and we both still breastfeeding.
Well, still with 4 months. My goal is also a year.
Yeah.
Like I'm like too scared to set the goal because I don't want to disappoint myself if it doesn't work out. But that's the crazy thing.
Though, and it's been easy for you this time.
Yeah, but that's the crazy thing, because I do feel like it's child dependent.
Yes.
Because here I am, 2 bodies, 15 months apart. One, I was like bleeding and like suffering, no milk. Second one, milk came in straight away. Also, my milk came in while I was still in hospital. Like day 2, I was like on the photos, I'm like Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
Or barely a day. I feel like the next day the milk was there, and I was like, geez, I thought it only comes in like day 3, day 5. Because I also know the
also
emotions
from the first experience.
Yeah. So I could immediately feel milk was there, milk was enough. His latch was perfect. I haven't had like the second of pain. Like I bought all the expensive nipple creams again in preparation. Barely used it. Like it's probably still sealed. I probably put it on in hospital as a precautionary measure. And it was fine. But he just latches better, like any position. He doesn't have reflux, and like even at night now he can like roll over and
by himself.
Like, playing with my shirt. I'm like, are you trying to like lift my shirt?
Yeah.
Like, do you know where it is now?
And
like,
it gets worse and worse and worse.
But I mean, that would be even more convenient, because now I need to like lift my shit. No, so he's just an easy breastfed baby. I can see he enjoys it. He like calms down. He is starting to get to that position of like looking up at you while he does it, and I was really looking forward to that, because obviously
it gets even more beautiful. Yeah. It's like, it's so special.
I don't think we'll stop anytime soon unless something like really happens to my body, or I get sick or something and my milk dries up. Because I've also kind of like cut down on the pumping now, because I have to pump at like 2 a.m.
Like
I get too full
pumping away, and I felt like my milk was even more.
Because obviously I want him to sleep longer stretches. Like I don't want to wake him up. He still dream feeds, but he'll drink at like 3 a.m.
where at 2 a.m. I'm lying there, like I feel like I can't move my arms.
Yeah.
Like I'm so
Dead.
engorged, like I can't move my arm, and then you just lie there awake. I feel like I almost can't even pick him up. I'm in so much pain.
Oh, gosh.
So yeah, at the moment it's just like the milk is there. He's happy. He
Like,
takes
why
the
stop?
he takes the bottle fine as well. But then we'll give formula when it's with the bottle, and then breastfeed
That's
when
nice
I'm
though,
there.
yeah.
So I don't have to pump or worry
Exactly,
about
there's
a stash
not
because
that
again
pressure.
that's that pressure. Yeah. But in the evening sometimes if we're also doing dinner and bath time and he's not hungry, I feel involved.
Yeah,
Then I'll like pump while I'm making dinner and bathing them, so that also helps, and then he'll get that bottle when he goes to sleep. I just decided to not do that pressure thing of like trying to pump a stash when I'm not there, and I don't feel like I need to pump when I'm not around him because my supply is there the moment he does drink.
It's like your body just adjusts to your routines.
It's just like such a good rhythm with him. But yeah, with Lucas it's just been easy. Like I have to say the biggest thing was probably like just having a good latch, not a baby with reflux and no pain.
Exactly.
Like, that
It's
just
so
made
weird.
everything
Like
so easy. Yeah.
And I think the second time both of us went in with that mindset of if I don't breastfeed, it's fine. I don't even like. I had a dummy and I had a bottle. I had formula with me in my hospital like the second time around.
Formula was ready.
So I think when you just don't completely remove the pressure, it just happens naturally. There was so much pressure with both of us the first time. We pushed too long.
Yeah.
Experienced infection, mastitis. We experienced.
Had mastitis.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the second time, neither one of us, it happened naturally. It was easy, no pain, immediate latch.
Yeah, and I don't feel like I have a less of a bond with Ayla because we didn't breastfeed.
No,
I
not at
felt like
all.
if she's in my arms and I'm giving her a bottle, I felt the same hormones or emotions than what I did if she was breastfeeding. I didn't feel like I was
different,
letting her down or that, you know, she's like a different child. So the second time I just said, you know what, 2 weeks. Let's try it. Let's give him the colostrum if it doesn't work. Because I won't say my husband doesn't enjoy breastfeeding, but he loves feeding them as well. Like he loves having that bond with them. So I never felt pressure from him. Like he was the one that bought the formula. He was like, we're never going to be in that situation. The Saturday night again. Like the formula was like, we found out we were pregnant. He's like, I'm going to go buy formula.
Stashing.
Oh shit. So he's like totally fine with it, and I love that as well. That he also, I think in relationships a lot of time, it's a weird dynamic. Like men either get jealous because you're breastfeeding and they don't have that bond, or they're like telling you why can't you breastfeed.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much pressure.
I felt like how can you grow a perfect baby for 9 months and then you can't breastfeed? Like this is part of your body's natural abilities. Like what is wrong with you?
But it's not always.
And
I think that's what we do as women. We put so much pressure on ourselves. Don't
mentally.
Just prepare yourself, I think, mentally, and also prepare yourself for failure. And it's not failure. Like I say failure because as a woman and a mom, you feel like you are failing. But it's not that. And I think the minute, like, if it feels right, go ahead and continue. But if it feels wrong, it's probably because something is wrong. Either it's not enough or it's like
some people just don't enjoy it. Like I've met moms that just. Like the leaking is quite bad. Like waking up every night, like drenched in your pajamas. It doesn't matter what you put in there.
New bedding,
and,
new everything.
Some people just don't like that feeling, and that's totally fine. Like your baby's not gonna be worse off because you didn't breastfeed them. Like happy mom, happy baby. That's
full baby. Happy baby.
Yeah,
fed is best. Literally,
Ayla is like the happiest formula fed baby I've ever met. Like she thrived. She picked up so much weight. Like she just. Her whole personality changed from being so crying, like screamy, to calm baby, full baby. She slept more because her stomach was actually full.
No, it was exactly the same.
I don't know. She just looked like
some babies are just bottle babies. Others, they need the poop. Like our current situation.
Yeah, that's the other thing with Ayla. She was born in summer and it was really hot. And
so
she didn't like being on me. It was too hot. Even now, like her whole sleeping arrangement, if she likes her alone time, she likes her space.
Our firstborns are so much alike, and the second are like very
No one's calm.
No, not anymore.
It's
done a turn. But seriously, like that's our stories. 4 different breastfeeding journeys, all so different, and it just really shows you that the minute you take away that pressure and stop just thinking that you have to do and be everything, I feel it happens naturally. And if it doesn't happen naturally, it doesn't make you any less of a mother. Like you are still a queen. But anyway, if you enjoyed that and you'd like to see some more from us, like, subscribe, leave a comment if you have any questions, and otherwise we'll see you next time. Bye.